The following programming is sponsored by Mark J. Bernstein. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Entrepreneur, founder, author, and financial advisor Mark Bernstein helps high-performing business owners turn their visions into reality. Through his innovative work and the Forward Focus Forums, Mark connects entrepreneurs to resources that fuel their success. Founders Forum is a radio show and podcast where entrepreneurs share their journeys, revealing the lessons they've learned and the stories behind their success. Join Mark and his guests for a mix of inspiration, valuable insights, and a little fun. Now, let's dive in.
Good morning, America. How are you? This is Mark Bernstein. This is Founders Forum, and this is the day before Thanksgiving 2025. And we've done this before, but I think it's worth doing again, a little bit on gratitude as our thought for the day. And by the way, today is also, if Susan is listening, my wife, it's our 36th anniversary today. We got married on Thanksgiving weekend 36 years ago, and we are, so I wish her a happy anniversary. She is the number one thing probably that I'm grateful for in terms of people in my life, and of course, family and friends and business partners and associates and my clients. But in terms, I was thinking about qualities that I'm grateful for or gifts that I've been given. Some of the things that I've been thinking about are my ability to think, to use my brain, my ability to grow and learn, my ability to enjoy life, which sometimes I have to work on a little bit, but it's something that I really treasure, and my ability to laugh, which also I have to remember to think about, which really leads me to our guest, Theresa, who I will formally introduce in a minute. But Theresa, what are you grateful for? And tell me about what you think about laugh, because I think it's very topical.
Oh, my gosh. Well, first of all, Mark, I'm grateful that we finally got together after years of kind of missing each other. So grateful for, obviously, my husband, my family. But what a joyful life. It truly is a joyful life. And it's because I look at some of the decisions that I've made that were kind of on a whim. They weren't strategic, but they played out well, being part of the comedy community in Philadelphia, having my Meet the Author group and getting to meet all of those thought leaders, and having work that I do that I absolutely love that makes a difference, and I get paid to do it. So I have so much to be grateful for.
Isn't it amazing? So all of you listening, I hope you're thinking about what you're grateful for, even though you're probably not listening on Thanksgiving, unless we are live on the radio in WWDB, so welcome to all of you who are listening today. So with that, let me introduce Theresa Hummel-Krallinger, CEO and Chief... Krallinger, right? Not Krallinger. Krallinger. I thought that was right. CEO and Chief People Officer, High Performance, Inc. As Theresa has said, we've been dancing with being friends for a couple years now, and doing things together, and I'm sure we will. And this is a great kickoff to things we might collaborate on. Theresa is a powerhouse culture and leadership expert, in case you didn't already gather that, and stand-up comedian, Emmy Award winner, and award-winning community builder. As president of High Five Performance, I forgot, high five, because I heard you start all your meetings with a high five.
I give a lot of high fives.
So, as president of High Five Performance, she helps organizations create workplaces people love, while her Meet the Author program, which I believe is how we originally met, actually, we were just talking about that, ranked number 4 of business networking by Philadelphia Business Journal, connects leaders in meaningful ways. And I know that's something, she'll tell the story, but she just kind of came upon one of the things I'm sure you're grateful for. Her upcoming book, which I'm going to hold up for our video camera, is called Make Waves, a Career Journal, which connects leaders in meaningful ways. And she's got me wanting, it's a workbook, and she's got me wanting to do it. And I'm sorry, her upcoming book, Make Waves, a Career, I didn't say that yet, did I? I'm so sorry. Her upcoming book, Make Waves, a Career Pathing Guide to Stand Out, Stay Employable, and Sail Ahead, empowers readers to own their careers for lifelong success, all delivered with her signature humor and heart. I've looked through that a bit, and I've committed to her that I'm going to do this as part of my year-end planning process. I'm not an employee, I'm an entrepreneur, but I think the materials apply equally well. And our show is for entrepreneurs, so grab her book. It'll be available on Amazon, I'm sure.
It is on Amazon.
It's on Amazon now. Make Waves, a career pathing guide to stand out, stay employable, and sail ahead. So with all that, welcome, Theresa.
Thank you for having me.
It's so great for you to be here. So I always like to start out with your story. This is a show about the founders' stories. So how did you grow up? How did you start finding a career path? And then I'll ask you about how you got into all these other things along the way.
So I grew up not far from here in North Wales, Irish Catholic family, went all through Catholic school, Catholic college. I was planning on working in the scientific field. I thought that I would work for Merck. What I didn't realize is that you actually have to apply and be accepted by the company to work there. And when I applied, I did not get the job at Merck. But then I needed a job, so I got a job at Prudential with no business background whatsoever and stayed for 18 years.
I forgot about that. You
Yes.
and I both started at Prudential.
Yeah. So 18 years there. But I always tell people the universe has a plan because the reality is I'm really not meant to work in a lab. I was meant to do what I'm doing. And by going to Prudential, I started to train people informally, and then I got into the corporate training department where working for a big company like Pru, they paid for my education. I had the best experience you could have working with a brand like that. So at the end of 18 years, I started my own company and have been doing that ever since.
So and how many years ago was that?
2002.
Okay, so that's 23 years ago.
Yes.
Excellent. So then you became an entrepreneur once you started your own company,
Yes.
obviously. And how was that journey in the beginning? I always say, the joke on the show is entrepreneurialism is a smooth ride.
It is not.
Well, thanks for that correction.
It is not. I was really blessed that when I left Prudential, I had some financial cushion. I think what really makes it very bumpy is if you don't. And I knew I had enough to probably hang on for about 2 years.
That's great.
So that was super helpful.
That's the advice I give people, but I didn't follow it.
Yeah, but but I think what it does is it changes your energy because you're not needy. You know what I mean? Like when you have a little cushion, there's a different energy you bring to the table. So of course, my first job as an entrepreneur was with Prudential. Of course. So of course they hired me back to do consulting work, to do coaching work, to do some training. So
you had a comfortable transition.
I did have a comfortable transition, but during that time, I was part of ASTD, which is now ATD, Association for Talent Development, and I really built my brand in the Philadelphia training community, eventually becoming president of the Philly chapter of ATD.
So that's a nonprofit. That's an organization, not right?
Yeah, it's a professional organization for people who deliver adult learning and corporate training.
Right.
It's still going strong today. We still have our Philly chapter, and then there's a national chapter.
You're still very involved, I guess.
You know what? I'm not as involved as I used to, but I always keep a hand in it.
Nice.
I just did a program with them in October. I think it was October. We had a great program.
Nice. So tell us about the journey. So now you have your business. You started out with a good client. You got involved with the association. What happened after that?
Well, what's interesting is when I started my organization, I thought I'm going to help people with performance management. I had a passion for that because I think most companies don't do it well. It's incredibly painful for not only the person receiving it, but the person having to deliver it. So that was my focus. Well, the universe had a different plan because nobody was hiring me to come in and do that. But what they were hiring me for was to come in and help their managers be better at what they do. So I got in, I would do DISC usually with them, which is a nice 4-style assessment to help them understand themselves and others. And then I created a curriculum for everything a manager would need to know, right? Motivation, delegation, coaching, managing change, everything that a manager needs to know. So I have a full curriculum, and I have been honing and delivering that ever since. But what's nice is once I get in and I can do the manager training, then I get to work on organizational culture.
Yep. And so we'll go into that. But before we do, describe real quickly. Many people might know. I know what DISC is, but you have first of all, describe. If I asked you, which I did today, what it is you do today in one sentence, you have a great sentence for that. So tell me what that is.
I create places where people want to work and the managers they want to work for.
And you do it with humor.
Oh, I can't help it.
Right.
It's in my DNA. We are going to laugh. And Mark, it's funny, when I first started doing comedy, I told people, don't tell anybody I'm doing this, because I'm a serious business person and I want my credibility to be intact. What I've learned is you want everybody to know you're a comedian, because who doesn't want a trainer that's going to be entertaining? Who doesn't want a consultant that's going to make them laugh, right?
Okay, so I'm not going to put you on the spot at this moment, but I want you to interject a joke here and there before the show's over. Can you do that?
I don't know. Hopefully it usually just happens naturally.
Improv.
Yes.
So let's see if that happens. So, okay, so that's what you're doing. So real briefly describe DISC and what DISC, what they stand for, and then tell me where you fall into that. Because I have some ideas. I'm interested to see where you fall.
There are so many wonderful assessments out there, and I think they're all helpful because they help us learn about ourselves and others. DISC is one of my favorites because it's very simple.
Yep.
It's 4 letters, D, I, S, and C, and really what we're assessing here is your response to the environment, your behavior style, your communication style, and DISC can change.
Right.
Based on the environment.
And the role that you're in as well, right?
Yes. So to your point, when I worked in risk management, I had to raise my C. When I'm in the training department, I raise my I, right?
Which you have, we used to use something called social styles, which is a little different, but that means, but they would also measure your versatility. So you have high versatility, which is, I guessed. But what is your natural style of the DISC?
So my natural style on DISC is IS with some D. So
influencer. That's what I would have
So
guessed.
Influencer, probably about 80% or more. My S, I grew up S. I'm never going to lose S. S is the supportive style. The I don't need the limelight style. I'm okay to be in the background, although the I likes the limelight.
Right.
So it's interesting. The D took me years to grow. The D is driver, get it done, goal-oriented, setting boundaries, calling the shots. I probably was at 2 on the DISC model for D when I first.
D.
Yeah, of course you are, and you've got some I. You have to have D and I for what you do.
They're my 2 highest. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So, and the C, as you mentioned, you had developed that as well.
Yes.
So as an entrepreneur, it's interesting. You sometimes have to develop all those things.
You do.
So I talk a lot about the strategic coach, a program I went through with Dan Sullivan. They use Colby a lot.
Okay.
But and that what that does is helps you discover your unique ability. So once things get complex and you reach the ceiling of complexity, he calls it, you want to back off and say, okay, what really energizes me and what do I do? And I'm only going to do that as an entrepreneur, and other people I'm going to find people that have other unique abilities. So, for instance, in Colby, I'm forgetting so I'm also a high D, which is, I'm a quick start. I'm very good at vision and ideas and all that, but I need completers. I need people to finish at the end.
Yes,
and
they're the S's on DISC.
Yeah, exactly. So over the years, I used to be pretty versatile myself, trying to be less versatile as I go, and really just do the things that energize me. But it's an interesting journey, interesting discussion. So, what kind of challenges have you had as an entrepreneur? And then we're going to take a quick break.
Oh my gosh, crazy challenges. I think the main thing is continuing to get people in the pipeline. It's easy when you start to get work, to get comfortable because you're getting work, but you have to continue to build your brand. So for me, that means speaking at conferences, speaking at chambers of commerce, speaking at the Rotary. Anytime I can get a platform, getting out there to meet people and building my brand is super important.
Keep the pipeline going.
Yeah.
Right? With that, I think that's a really good place to take a quick break. So we'll be right back on Founders Forum.
The Sattel Institute is the leading CEO member organization dedicated to corporate social responsibility. Under the vision and leadership of its founder, entrepreneur and philanthropist Ed Sattel, the Institute brings together CEOs in Philadelphia and other cities to support the nonprofit organizations that do heroic work in our communities. The Sattel Institute believes that community is every leader's business. SI's members-only meetings and private CEO conferences give members the opportunity to hear from world-class thought leaders on crucial topics like AI, education, corporate philanthropy, and more. In addition, CEO members get the opportunity to share ideas and experience with their peers, like-minded CEOs who believe in the importance of giving back to the community and who understand the benefits companies get from embracing corporate social responsibility. The Sattel Institute charges no dues or fees. In order to join, member companies simply make a long-term commitment to the nonprofit of their choice. To find out more about membership and why so many leading companies are now part of the Sattel Institute, visit the organization's website at sattelinstitute.org. Sattel, S-A-T-E-L-L, institute.org. As Ed Sattel says, think we, not just me.
We are back on Founders Forum with our guest today, my guest today, Theresa Hummel-Krallinger. And as I mentioned, she is CEO and Chief People Officer of High Performance, Inc., and we've been talking about that. But she's also several other things, all of which support her business. They're all connected. So stand-up comedian, how did that happen?
Oh, my gosh. One of the best decisions I ever made, Montgomery County Community College offered a stand-up comedy class. That is 5 minutes from my house. It was $89 and an 8-week course. And I thought, I'm going to take this class, not to be a comedian, because that's far-fetched. That's never going to happen.
You didn't see yourself that way.
No. But I want to learn comedic technique because I do a lot of speaking, I do a lot of training, and I think it's going to enhance the work I do. So I take this 8-week course. Let's just say it is hard. It is hard to write material and have it work. So after spending so much time on it, then you get 5 to 7 minutes on a comedy stage in front of all your friends and relatives who are blown away that you're doing this thing. So I got laughs. I got laughs with my little 5 to 7 minutes. So then I took another class, got myself up to about 12 minutes.
Not what people usually expect when they perform in front of friends and family, by the way, right?
No. And I'll tell you, the relationships that I've made through comedy have enhanced my business as well. It's crazy. But here's what's really crazy. I get paid to do comedy and have been getting paid since 2002. Now,
amazing.
I'm not going to retire on my comedy income, but that is insane.
Well, I know how hard that is to do, so it's pretty amazing. What I really admire about you, and something I've noticed from the beginning when we've talked, is that you go after things with intention, with purpose, that end up being a part of your life.
Yes.
And that complement the rest of your life.
That's true.
Not many people do that, where they just say, you know what, because I think it will make me a better corporate speaker, I'm going to work really hard at studying comedy with no clue of becoming a comedian at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing that you do that.
I think we have to be open to possibilities. Like, there's things we don't know.
Sure.
But until you start to get into it, then things present themselves. And now, what a blessing I get to work with Joe Conklin, who I also consider a friend at this point. He's wonderful to work with. And I've gotten to know probably close to 200 comedians in the Philly, New Jersey, New York area.
And by the way, we're on Philadelphia radio, but if you're listening to the podcast and you're not from Philadelphia, Joe Conklin is master impressionist and I guess the best known long-term local comedian in Philadelphia, probably, right?
Yeah, and he's multi-talented. He also does a show where, there's music and song, and he's a really, really cool guy.
He's a great talent, yeah. And then you're president, or you started the Meet the Author program, which is a big networking group in Philadelphia. How'd that come about?
Very humble idea again. I know a lot of people who've written books. And I thought, I'm at the Pyramid Club, and I enjoyed my membership, and I thought, what can I do to give back? So I thought, let's have like a little round table, and I'll invite an author to come in They'll talk about their book. We'll buy it. They'll sign it. Maybe we'll have 12 to 15 people. Well, here it is 12 years later. We sometimes get 80 to 100 people.
That's unbelievable.
Which is crazy. Before COVID, we did everyone in person.
And you moderate every program, right?
I do. Yep. Unless every now and then, if there's somebody that I love deeply, I'll invite a guest moderator to come in.
Okay.
But we have had just over 200 authors have come through who I now consider my friends. And I have a list, oh my gosh, probably of 50 authors waiting to come through the program. And then Philadelphia Business Journal has this thing called Book of Lists. So back in the day, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many years ago it was, we applied. At this point, we're number 4 for professional business networking in the city. Number 4.
It's amazing.
Which is cool.
That, and again, intention, you had a great intention of bringing people together, but your intention wasn't to build one of the largest networking groups.
Mark, I think too small. I think too small. But like I said, I hate to get woo-woo on you, but the universe just kind of carries things where they're meant to be. I work with it.
You and I are both believers of that. It's pretty amazing. Look, this podcast, same thing. I had very modest intentions. I thought I would try it for 3 months. 2.5 years later, pushing 150 guests, I think now. It's been an amazing ride, and all kinds of things have come from it that I didn't imagine. Yeah. So I certainly understand that. Your book. So having to meet the author group, I have a feeling that might have inspired you saying, hey, I would have my own book, right?
Yes. And for years I talked about it. It's interesting. Anybody that's published a book knows it's a lot. Like there's lots of little things and the process isn't exactly clear. But this book that I wrote is really based on a labor of love. Again, this is not something that I monetize, but it helps me strengthen my network. I love to help job seekers. I love to help people figure out what it is they want to be when they grow up. You could be 60 years old and be asking yourself that question. What do I want to be when I grow up? And it's important to understand, what are your values? What's your style? What aligns with who you are? So for, I would say, 20 years, I curated all these materials, all these assessments, all of these stories. And I'm like, I have to put this in a book. And right now, just saying, right now, the timing for this is perfect because there's a lot of job seekers out there right now. And this is something, if they don't have a career coach, they can go through this themselves. Even if they have a career coach, if you are a career coach, it's a great guide to use as a workbook. And you know what, Mark? I think when people are getting ready to retire, I also think this is a helpful guide to help them really get in touch with who they are, what they love, and really what they want to do with the rest of their life.
You know, I was just first of all, looking through the book as you're talking, and it's really, really well done.
Thank you.
So I'm really looking forward to absorbing it. But you wrote me a little note, and you spelled my name right, which I appreciate, and you're great. And it says, go forth. And you may or may not know this, but our company's name, which we branded, you know, my business here, the Founders Forum, is under the brand Forward Focus Forums. And our company's name is March Forward. Not really an accident, but it's something that we collectively came up with. And it's all about looking forward, and it's all about the future. So you couldn't have said a nicer, more meaningful thing to me.
It's in alignment.
Yeah,
yes.
It's in alignment. So having said that, let's talk about Theresa's forward future vision. So if this is day before Thanksgiving, 2028, and you and I are talking, which I'm sure we will be at some point around then, and we had to look back on the last 3 years, what would have to happen in your life, that could be personally, business, whatever, that would make you feel that was a very successful 3-year period in your life?
I think there are more books to be published on different topics. One, I already see a second edition of Make Waves with an expanded content around using AI for job search. Also, having a side hustle, which I did not include, but I think it's an important component of our careers these days. I also see a book on organizational culture.
What's the side hustle, by the way?
Side hustle is you have something that you do that is not your mainstream
Oh,
job.
that would be part of the book you're saying, not
Yes,
you, because you already have plenty
I have
of side
so many
hustles.
side
Right,
hustles.
right.
But I think, Mark, it's an important thing that gives me comfort because I can lean on it when I need to. You
Yep.
know what I like? It's just so important to have it. But I have other books. I have a book on culture I want to write. I want to write a book on because my dear human resource friends, and I'm at the deep end of the pool with them. I want to write a book on what does good HR look like, and focus on that with them. I also want to just build
When you say culture, you mean company culture, right?
company
Yep,
culture,
yep,
organizational
yep,
culture.
Yep.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yep.
So getting the books out there. I want bigger audiences. I think I want to get out there and really speak to corporations, to leaders, to let them know how to create a workplace where people want to work, where they're engaged, where they're proud to be part of it, how to be that kind of leader.
I mean, you do that already.
I do.
But you like to do more to bigger audiences.
I want to do more and bigger audiences.
I love it. So you are thinking big.
I am
you're
thinking
capable
bigger,
of it.
Mark.
There we go. Maybe the show's helping you. I'd like to help you.
I think hanging out with you is going to help.
I agree with that. We only have a couple minutes left. I know you're a learner, and I know you're a reader. What are your favorite books, Theresa? What do you like to read?
So I have to say, and it's from 1998. It's an old book, Play to Win, and it's written by two brothers, the Wilsons. And I had a mentor that recommended this book for me, and she asked me a question. She said, Theresa, are you playing to win or are you playing not to lose? And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, because you're going to behave very differently if you're playing to win. And boy, was that an epiphany moment, because I was playing not to lose. And that was really how my parents had groomed me to be, to play it safe.
And we had an earlier conversation about in business, you can stay steady and stable and continue to grow, or you can shoot for the stars.
Yes.
And it sounds like you're looking more towards the latter these days.
Absolutely.
Which is something, that's the vision and strategy for our company, and we're thinking the same way. So I'm going to ask you a trick question, which I haven't asked you, prepped you for, but your legacy. If you were looking back on your life, what would you like your legacy to be about you?
I hope people will squeeze the juice out of life. And I see too many people checking boxes, mailing in time. I want people at every moment of every day to be squeezing the juice out of life. And I hope that is kind of the mindset that I impart on the leaders that I work with and my friends and family. Just enjoy life.
Well, those are great, wise words to finish our show with. And thank you all for listening. I'm grateful, Theresa, that you were here with me today. Perfect day to do that. Grateful for all of you. And we'll look forward to talking to you again next week on Founders Forum.
We hope you enjoyed your time with Founders Forum and that you found value to take with you throughout your day. Join us again next week for another episode of Founders Forum on WXKB 1039 HD2.